On this episode of the Who Is This podcast, brought to you by Double R Communications and Sierra Pacific Mortgage of the Gila Valley, Davis and I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Josh Mata. Josh is a jack of all trades. He does a lot of different types of things. Most recently, he is in the new build, residential new build. So he's doing that. He got his contractor's license, and Josh's story was fun to listen to. He talks about how important it is to look for opportunities wherever you're at, and that's kind of where he has gotten to where he is today. So we had a good time talking to him, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
Yeah.
Those things are horrible for you, Isaac.
Dude, I drink too many of them. What do you drink? You don't drink any of these?
I do.
Doesn't change the fact that they're horrible
No.
for you, though. Yeah, no, I know. I drink too many. At least I do no sugar, though, right?
Yeah, but if I'm gonna drink one, I'm just gonna do it.
Honestly,
I don't drink enough of them to justify doing the no sugar.
the taste of the no sugar ones, like, I prefer them. Like these peach ones, dude, they're good. Freaking money.
Dude, I like the tropical one. Which one are those?
The tropical monster.
Yeah.
What color is
Like
it?
the mango. Is it the
Yeah.
mango one?
It's like a teal kind of color.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. They got some good stuff, dude. They
That's
make
good
it
stuff.
hard to quit them. Like, honestly, I more drink them for the taste, just because I like having something to drink, you know?
Yeah.
I
That
don't really-
carbonation.
I drink so many that I'm like, I'm immune to the caffeine, so it doesn't really give me any
Hey, remember the
actual benefit of
remember
it.
those BFCs? Those
The
big cans?
huge ones,
Oh
yeah.
man, I have a story on that.
Yeah?
We were, me and a friend, we were working at Ashley Furniture,
Uh-huh.
and when they first come out with the BFCs, and of course we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into,
Uh-huh.
and we were supposed to go to Las Cruces, New Mexico,
Been there
because
before.
there was a family that had moved here and needed help to get to Las Cruces, and we moved all of their furniture for them. So our day started off in like Clifton, and we went from Clifton to, actually I believe it was Lordsburg. Regardless, we went to like New
Uh-huh.
Mexico, went to Clifton, Morenci, you know.
Yeah.
Our day ended in Las Cruces, and as soon as we got to the first gas station at probably 5:00 in the morning, we cracked open a regular Monster. And every gas station we'd see, of course, driving, we'd just grab another Monster because we didn't know better.
Uh-huh.
And we were, it was Las Cruces, and it was probably 10 o'clock. And we were coming back from Las Cruces at about 10 o'clock at night. And we started at 4. So we were way past.
4 in the morning?
4 in the morning
Uh-huh.
we started. It's way past what we should have been doing. And it was still, I think, 4 hours in the truck we were driving back, maybe a little bit longer. And I remember getting one of the big Monster cans and like sitting there drinking it, and it was between my legs because you can't have any cup holders for that.
Yeah, they're too small.
And my partner, at the time, he looks over at me and he's like, "Josh, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm ready to get home." And we're like cruising, and I was like flying down in this box truck, and he's like, "Are you sure you're okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Let's get home." And he's like, "Josh, you're only going like 35 miles an hour." I'm like, "There's no way." And we were on like the freeway.
I thought you were
We
going to say
supposed
I'm
be-
going 135.
Yeah, I could have swore that I was going 135, and we were on the and at the time he had gotten a DUI, unfortunately, so he couldn't drive.
Uh-huh.
So we were kind of waiting, like, man, maybe I shouldn't be driving. Maybe he'll gonna have to sacrifice. So he ended up driving
Uh-huh.
about an
Just-
hour, and I
yeah.
fell asleep, and I started getting all the shakes and stuff. It was
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought you were going to say you're going like 100 miles an hour because you're all
no, it was
wired.
like I felt like I was
Yeah.
getting tunnel vision and everything. I
That's crazy.
thought I was just going, and I was going like 35, and cars were just passing me on the freeway, wondering what was going on, and
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't have a heart attack or something. I know at that time, I think kids and stuff our age were having heart attacks because we were.
Still, dude.
Dude,
Still
like
happens.
18.
I need to stop drinking so many.
I'm
Will
one
you
a day.
scoot over that way a little bit? Just the whole chair. Yeah, slide your whole chair a little closer to that mic. Yeah.
I'm one a day unless I like go play golf. Then I'll drink 2 because
That's basically where I'm at.
yeah, that's not bad.
Depends on who you ask.
160 milligrams of caffeine is not bad at all.
That's without drinking
What's your-
coffee or anything.
Yeah, what I don't
That's
know.
my only caffeine intake.
Yeah,
What's your average cup of coffee? I don't even know.
I
We
think
need
it's
to
like
have, we need to have the bean guy back in here.
150.
150. Okay, let's see. This
Yeah,
has,
160, dude.
how do you just remember things?
That is weird.
Because,
yeah.
dude, do you know how many times I've been lectured about this?
By who? Your wife or your mom?
All the women in my life.
Yeah, I drink quite a bit of coffee in the morning too.
Do
Yeah.
you?
I drink probably 20, 24 ounces of coffee, and then
I can't even find it. Whatever.
you need some glasses.
Let me see.
Apparently, are they all the same, regardless of flavor, or zero sugar? I was trying to justify.
I
it
would
to
think-
Josh
I
that we
would
said
think-
zero sugar.
I would think the sugar ones probably have a
150.
little more.
This one only has 150.
So if you're drinking 300 a day. Dude,
And I think,
that's
like,
nothing
I want to say like 600 a day is like,
dangerous.
that's where, yeah.
Well, I remember hearing those stories in high school, like kids drinking,
having a heart
Yeah,
attack.
kids
They're
drinking like
freaking
heart-
6 a day
Yeah.
or something.
Pumping out
Start
there.
getting the jitters and
Yeah,
start dropping in school. I remember those too.
yeah. I remember, who was it? I think it was Josh McDonald.
What's
would carry around a
healthy adult male caffeine intake?
ChatGPT, dude. That's where it's at.
Dude, I've never.
Oh, you gotta get
I'm-
ChatGPT.
I am so bad with technology.
Oh,
I am
400
horrible.
milligrams.
Is the recommended?
Yeah, so 4 to 5 cups of coffee, 8 ounces each. 8 to 10 cups of black tea, 10 cans of cola, 2 energy shots.
Dang.
I'm under that. I'm good. I got room. Dude. I could drink more if I wanted.
You can drink half. You can
Um,
drink 2.5 a day.
Yeah. Anyways, I remember. I think it was Josh McDonald would carry around an ice chest and sell monsters to.
Dane Bingham.
Did Dane do it too?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
Which
any of that.
honestly, brilliant.
I
I'm sure they cleaned up, dude. I'm sure they cleaned up. If it wasn't Josh, sorry, Josh.
For the a little bit of high school side hustle.
Yeah, just like in the hallways, they'd have
Dude, I
a
remember-
little ice chest with wheels on it, and you could buy a monster for $3 or $4.
I remember when at Superstop they were 2 for 2. Those were the
that's
days,
crazy. What are they now? 4 for $8.
Uh,
Actually, I think they might have got rid of that deal.
They did. It's 3 for 7.
Yeah.
But you buy one and it's 348.
Yeah, you got to buy 3 when you do it.
Yeah, you
and
have
see
to.
that
Okay.
adds to my habit too. Is I have to buy more, and then when I have them, I drink them. So
Yeah, and then if you only buy one, you waste money.
yeah,
You waste money. It's a waste of money.
It really is.
Just like when those girls shop and they get discounts at stores, right?
Yeah,
Same thing.
it's girl math.
Yeah.
Save, if you don't buy anything, then I guess it applies to me too. If I just don't buy any monsters, but
Yeah,
gotta
I
have
agree.
one, dude. I gotta have one.
I
every now
remember my side hustle in high school was book reports.
and then. Book reports.
Book reports. I used to do everybody's book reports during the.
You used to write them?
I used to
for
write 'em.
people?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
What did they pay
It was
you?
good money. $50 a book
What?
report.
That's
yeah.
so funny. I never heard that before.
Yeah, yeah. I was really good at it.
Miss Woodward never caught you, huh? Or what?
Well, it was
what-
through entire high school. I mean, every English, Miss Smith,
Did
Miss
you have like
Woodward. Miss...
repeat clients?
I did.
We won't mention any names.
They know.
Dude, we're
They know.
in our mid-30s now. We can mention names.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll let Josh decide if he wants to mention
No.
any names.
Brett Skinner was one of them. Yeah, I remember Brett.
That's hilarious.
There's quite a bit of other students that.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I was so good at it. The way I used to be able to do it was I'd go, and I would literally roulette books, and I could read the back of it. Just what is it called? Summary.
Uh-huh.
I'd read the summary of it, and I would make an entire book report just off the summary.
Dude,
His book report was just the summary.
Like no, like I would make the
Uh-huh.
beginning, the middle, the plot, everything. I would just make it off of the
do
summary.
you ever
and
wonder,
just
like,
play
how, first of all, how much of your work the teacher actually read or just gave you credit for doing it?
Well, if you think about it, 20 students and you have to do a
Oh,
5.
I
yeah,
times
did
7 classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Or
figured
6
that. I
classes.
figured that out.
Yeah.
My freshman year,
Yeah.
like there's
Just-
no way
I
they're
think
doing all
the
this
key
stuff.
is just staying off their radar because
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
sure they have like, you know, they'll read a few and they would probably be pretty strategic on who they selected they were
Yeah,
going to read.
and I would assume it's probably more of the sentence structure and everything is what they probably
yeah.
wanted to
Right.
know, not necessarily the story in the back line.
Right.
And
Now you can just have
Oh, man.
ChatGPT
I was gonna
write your
say,
book reports.
Kids nowadays, dude,
I
they
don't
gotta
even-
be using it, right?
I don't even
Oh,
know
yeah,
if they
100%.
have book reports now. To be honest,
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, they only go to school 4 days a week now,
Yeah,
unless you're
Getting s-
failing or something.
getting
And then
soft.
they are soft.
Well,
Anyways, Josh, welcome
Hello.
to the podcast, man.
Thank you for
Josh
having me.
or you
Mata.
can leave most of that in.
Yeah, nope, leave all of it in. Yeah,
Oh.
that's fine. I don't know. I mean, basically, the whole purpose of this is for you. We want to get to know you and your story, what you do now, how you got here. Yeah, so tell us about yourself, man.
Man, born and raised here in town, actually in Thatcher.
Mm-hmm.
I actually grew up just by the college here.
Just across the street from the outside volleyball courts, right?
The outside
Yeah.
volleyball
I
courts, yep.
remember. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I spent most of my time on those basketball courts
Mhm.
and those volleyball courts for sure. That canal there, I used to do a lot of weird stuff in the fishing. I used to actually fish. in the
Crawdad
canal,
fishing
Crawdad
and-
fish. I used to
We used to always,
swim
whenever
there.
the puddle, like whenever in the winter when they didn't, you know, the canal would dry out, there'd get big puddles. We'd always go and find actual fish in there too.
Yeah, you'd catfish. Yeah,
Yeah.
noodling. You'd almost be able to
Mhm.
noodle those.
Yeah, you'd find the puddles and get a
Yeah,
net.
good times.
Great times.
Yeah, I used to enjoy doing that. You don't see very many kids doing that
You
stuff
don't.
anymore.
That's a good point. Yeah,
And that's
every once in a
horrible.
while you see
Which-
someone crawdad fishing, but
Is our fault too, I think. Like, I'm definitely more protective of my kids than my parents were of me, I think. Like, if I don't know, I guess I also can't remember, I guess, at what age I was really doing that, but if my kids, I guess Kyson, I would let him. He's 12 now, but like if Emery was like, hey, we're going to go to the canal, I'd be like, no, you're not. Like, you know, it's just, I'm more protective.
And soft.
But
And soft age.
I guess actually that's not always true either, because Emery and Kyson went crawdad fishing behind my brother's house the other day. So but there are certain things that there's no way I'd let my
Yeah.
kids do what I did.
I think with social media you hear more horror stories, and so that maybe
Mhm.
that's why we're, as a generation, we're more protective of our kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. Like, there's things I did when I was a kid that there's no way I would let my kids do.
Yeah.
Oh, not me.
You let
Let
them
'em
do
do
it?
whatever.
Do it, yeah,
How old are
they're
your
gonna
kids
do it.
now?
5 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're gonna, my son's got a 110 cc 4-wheeler. If he's gonna rip it, if he's gonna flip it, I'd let him do it. It's
Yeah.
either I'd rather him get hurt and understand what to not do now versus when he's
When he
older. Right?
Gets a more powerful one.
Yeah.
That's a
Or
good
if
point.
you ever just in general, like dealing with pain, dealing with how to fall down, get back up, dealing with the understanding of how to recoup from those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's different. My wife's like, no, don't let him do it.
Yeah.
He's a boy. He's gonna get hurt. He's gonna do all those things. It's just no matter of when is it gonna happen versus
Right.
how or
Yeah, and that's a good point too. I mean, you can definitely shelter them too much, and there's a lot of that too. I hope that I'm not doing it too much, but
yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably doing fine.
hopefully.
I doubt it, dude. I think you're not doing fine.
Luckily, Davis's opinion doesn't mean anything to me. So. Anyway, sorry we interrupted you.
No, it's okay.
Grew up here, yeah.
So I grew up here. I spent a lot of time outside, of course, and I actually had a pretty boring life up until probably middle school. Middle school is when everything probably had my life had changed a little bit, and that's just because I got introduced to sports. So I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I didn't have a clue what organized sports were until I played football.
Which at
that
that
was-
time, 7th grade was the first time.
At that time,
Yeah,
it would have
in
been
Thatcher.
7th grade, right?
Yeah, they didn't have the little leagues like they do now.
Yeah, and there may have been like a summer league or certain things that had happened, but if it was, I didn't have any idea about it, right? And I remember a life lesson that I learned that I actually apply to my businesses and things now was I remember there's a time that I was playing with I don't remember the position, but back then it was kind of a weird. You had 3 running backs and they had like a halfback, a second back, and it was like a third back. I don't remember the exact verbiage that they had for that, but it was like a crackback, maybe something along those lines. And there was Frank Chavez was just destroying everybody on the edge. I remember him just coming in, just hurting people left and right. And of course, as 7th graders, not ever seeing football before, everybody was like terrified to go, right? And the coach is like kind of looking around, trying to pick out like who's gonna. Is anybody willing to play this position? Because nobody wanted to play because Frank was just destroying everybody. So I'm like, well, this is my chance. Like, you kind of slowly raise, yeah, I'll play, coach. I'll do it. Nobody wanted to play, so of course, I'm like, this is my opportunity to try it out. And the first couple of times, of course, I got destroyed. Like I think in middle school I was maybe like 60 pounds. I was a little guy compared to what I was in high school, and I kind of after getting beat up quite a bit, I kind of started catching on to like his footwork, and I started understanding like, okay, well, if I stepped a little bit slower, I wasn't getting hurt, and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And I ended up finally getting a good crack at Frank, and I started kind of progressing, and I started getting a little bit better and enjoying it more. And I remember another time, I believe our kicker got hurt, 7th grade, no idea how to play. And the coach is like, well, anybody want to try kicking? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm running back. I've got plenty of energy. I'll try kicking. And then I ended up doing the kickoff team. And then, of course, the same situation happened. Well, we don't have anybody as wide receiver. Yeah, I'll try it. So then next thing I know, just because I didn't want to, just because I was playing the positions that essentially nobody else wanted to play, I was getting opportunities to play and getting more time and having more fun and enjoying it a little bit more. And even to this day, even with my business, with the renovations and stuff, I typically will do a lot of the jobs that essentially nobody else wants to do, right? And I'm glad that I learned that lesson as a renovation company now, because even with there's jobs that people won't touch, electrical jobs from like the 50s, just because it's a huge liability.
Yeah.
But yet, if you know how to do it properly and if you learned how to do it, then you can do a really good job doing it and make it safe and make it feasible, so long as you're willing to do the job and take the time on it. But the unfortunate thing is that nobody takes the time on it because either it's not enough money for them, it's going to take too much time, and it's just not worth them doing the job. But me, I'm the guy that's like, yeah, I'll do it. If I have the time, if I have the effort to do it, yeah, I'll do it, absolutely.
That is a good, a cool lesson to learn, that, there's opportunity in the less desirable positions.
And as long as you're willing to do the work that nobody else wants to do, really, you can always have an opportunity, right? And that's kind of what I've strived off of when I'm doing like the renovating and the small jobs. It's just, if you don't want to do it, somebody else is going to, right? And I'm that guy typically. So
yeah,
that's pretty interesting. And I use that all through sports, and I use it all through the jobs that I'm getting. And now not so much, just because now I've got enough business to where I just kind of get to pick and choose. Because there's some jobs that you're just like, I don't want to do that, just because I'm getting older and I don't want to be in an attic for 2 weeks in the middle of summer. Not that I don't want to do it, I just can't necessarily do it as much. But
right. Well, and you're in a position now where you don't have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So But typically I still will, just because
Mhm.
I need to stay busy and I get bored really quick. So.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Attics in the summer are fun, though. I don't know what the big deal is.
Oh man. I remember.
I just put insulation in a home, and I was only in the attic for like an hour, but I was beat the rest of the day. It's like that sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, it's. I remember. I was in an attic, somebody's attic, a couple of years ago, and I didn't know that a part of the roof, because there's two valleys that come through, and some of the old construction, there'd be like an outside porch, and people would enclose the outside porch,
Mm-hmm.
and they would run the roof line off of an exterior wall, but the wall would be flat. So all the rainwater would run into that valley, and it would just, even though it was a block wall, you put top plate and stuff, which is wood. And I remember going in to see an electrical job and to see where this wire was running. I was chasing down a wire, and I rubbed up against that valley, and just dozens of scorpions pull out of that lumber, just because the lumber was so bad, so moist that. And I'm literally like in 1.5 feet, and I just had to sit there and let them sting me until I could figure out how to back out. And then I ended up realizing that the entire roof was just bad. Like, it was no point. So I ended up I had my skill saw there, and I ended up cutting a hole in the roof to be able to get out before the scorpions finished me off.
You cut the hole to get out of the roof?
Yeah, I did.
That's crazy. How many times did you get stung, do you think?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't. Man, and I'm pretty good with pain. Like, I don't typically have, like, I don't freak out. I don't go into panic mode, but it had probably been 20, 30 times.
Jeez.
I had gotten.
Did you have to go to the ER or anything?
No, I hadn't, like, I don't have any feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't have any feeling in my left hand, like my left leg.
I got
part of
stung
my chest.
twice in my foot once, and my leg went numb up to my knee, and that was just with 2 stings. So
Yeah,
crazy.
it was, and you could tell, because you could see all the little red dots. And then I go out, and I even had a scorpion in my sleeve.
Oh
Like,
my
I was
gosh,
taking my shirt off,
dude.
you can see the scorpions pulling out of my sleeves, and that was about time I was like, okay, maybe there's no more attics for this guy.
Yeah, take a little break for a while.
Cutting the roof just to get out of it.
That's a crazy story.
That is so crazy.
So, do you so your renovation, I can see it on your shirt, is
Yes.
DeMata.
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Yes. Yeah.
DeMata?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that your main focus now? Because didn't you used to do, like, carpet cleaning and stuff too? Or are you not doing that anymore?
So I still have the carpet cleaning business.
Okay.
I got into that in 2018, so I bought that. We don't necessarily do a ton of the residential stuff anymore. We have some real estate companies that give us a call, so we do a lot of the move out cleanings, and more so than we don't have customers. We don't necessarily mess with the customers firsthand anymore, just because I always guarantee my work. I do everything that I've ever done. I've always done like a 30-day guarantee. So if you have any issues within 30 days, I always guarantee the work. But I started running into problems with that just because
People abusing it?
Yeah, and it was, and I understand, like, if I were to go to your house, I didn't do a very good job, you give me a call back, and I mean, I will fix my mistakes. I take care of the things that I made mistakes on. But I was running into, and this was like every single job, just because they knew that I had a guarantee. And I would clean a job, and it would be like brand new carpet, and I would leave, and they'd call me back. Okay, hey, you guys missed the spot. Okay, we'll come check it out. And you'd come back, and of course you'd do your treatments and stuff, and I have a thermometer that checks like moisture content and temperature. So I'd stick it into the carpet to see, and the temperature on it's like 98 degrees. And I'm like, man, if your dog just urinated on this carpet, Like, it's okay. You can tell me, and I'll
Yeah.
take care of it. That's fine. But then you were just getting customers all the time. They were, well, you missed this spot, and they were kind of putting the blame on me, and
It was a spot that was developing after you cleaned.
yeah, and it
Which
was
they're trying
apparently
to-
a spot that I
Yeah.
had missed. But you go in there, and everywhere else is like 60 degrees, and then you
Uh-huh.
have this one spot that's like steaming, and you're like, oh, it was your fault. I'm like, really, it was? You guys, come on.
Yeah, that's
And
frustrating.
I'm not the type of person to just say you're a liar.
Yeah.
Just I was, I was respectful, and I would be like, yeah, you know what, we may have missed a spot, and I'll take care of it. And after so many of those, I was just, you know what, I think I'm gonna get away from the residential stuff, and
Yeah.
so we will do, if I go to a customer's job and have the opportunity to meet with the customer firsthand and kind of read them and understand
Right.
that if they're a genuinely good person, then I'll take care of it for them without having any
Mhm.
problems. But we typically just do straight commercial now.
Okay.
Isn't it funny how, like, within the first 5 minutes of meeting somebody, you know how they'll be as a client or as a person in general?
Or at least
It's-
have a very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're
it's-
usually spot on.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and I still run into that with the renovation, and when I do new builds, I run into that quite a bit, because you ask for people like, hey, you have to get a pre-approval. Let's do before I can give you hard money. Let's do a oh, I'm approved for so and so much. I know it. You don't need to do this. You don't need. And you're like, oh.
Don't trust them, dude.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't. Of course, I
So
don't.
are you doing residential, like, house
New
builds?
builds.
New builds
I do,
now?
yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit now.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't.
Since when?
It's been 2 years now.
Apparently Isaac
probably.
doesn't follow you on Facebook.
My bad.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
kidding.
sorry.
Oh, man.
I didn't realize that you were building houses now.
Yeah, I started. So I actually, the first new build that I did from ground up with my contractor's license was my own build.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest, I love my wife. I will never build her another house. I'll hire it out.
Uh-huh.
I'll pay the another contractor to do it, because
Hey.
it was a mess.
I
Man.
did
It
the same
was-
thing, and
Yeah.
I say the same thing. Somebody just asked me that last night, and I was like, I'll never do it again.
No, it was bad. It was, and it was like me. I've met so many people, and I can literally build a house from dirt work to roof to the electrical to plumbing. I can literally from ground up, just because of all the old school guys that I've learned with. I've met so many guys that's been in tile trades and framing trades and plumbing trades, and having the opportunity to learn from them, I got the opportunity to be able to do all these things myself. And of course, I was, oh, it's a great idea. I'll build my own house. And it was my wife, man. She, like, I go to pick out cabinets. Well, let's do this. Well, let's do that. No, let's do this. And like, ended up having to give her an ultimatum on probably 80% of the stuff. Like, hey, this tile or this tile or this cabinet, and then let alone the cabinets. We got like fully custom cabinets, because we had met a guy that had come from Oklahoma City, and he lives here now in Pima,
Mm-hmm.
and he does fully custom cabinets. I mean, you can have season racks, you can have lazy Susans, you can. My wife got these hairdresser racks and containers, like stainless steel containers, so it doesn't burn the countertops. All sorts of fancy stuff, and it took her so long. And I felt so bad for that guy, just because of how many times he probably had to redo this. And oh man, it was a mess. From picking the tile to picking the flooring, I finally I got fed up, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. If you don't like it, then you're gonna have to deal with it. I'm sorry.
And you know what's funny? Like, in the moment, I'm sure your wife would probably agree with this too. In the moment, you feel like every single one of those decisions is so huge, but once you get them in, like, there's so many things you barely even notice.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
the flooring, we spent so much time trying to decide what flooring we wanted. And like once we picked it, we could have picked any flooring, and I think we would have been happy. Not any flooring, but I mean, we were deciding between two things that looked exactly the same. You know what I mean? And so like that's what I mean is like they're and the cabinets, same thing. We spent so much time on the cabinets.
And here's the worst part too is depending on the lighting you pick versus the cabinetry you pick, the color. When you go to the floors, if you have like a regular brown to an off brown, as soon as you put them in, it's going to look completely different anyway.
Yeah.
So regardless of how picky you are on certain things,
they're going to look fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the other thing is like we were trying to match the cabinets perfectly with the floors. And couldn't do it, and finally we just like we whatever we just like put them in. They look great.
Yeah, absolutely. And typically all the colors will kind of bounce off each other in contrast.
Turns out designers know what they're doing when they're creating a product.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I have a lot of that problem too because I do the custom builds for everybody, and that's one of the main problems that everybody's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And you kind of give them like a color chart, like, hey, these colors look the best, these colors look the best, and then it tends to be a little bit easier when you progress from that. And then thankfully the people that I have are so good with customer service. Like his name's Mike Orr. Mike Orr is the cabinet guy here. And I can just, hey, call Mike Orr. You guys pick whatever color.
Like Blindside?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's him?
Well, kind of, no. But it's not. It is, yeah. That's fine. I just put that
same
together.
Guy. He lives in the Gila Valley.
Yeah. And so I'll typically, and he's got all the design software. He can he's got like samples. Actually, I'm going to be building him a shop for him to be able to produce even more because he's got really big jobs going on.
He just does it out of his house.
He's got a small shop now. He's got like a 1,400 square foot shop now. Mm-hmm. But and then his new shop, he's going to have like all the cabinetry working stuff in a different station. And he's going to have like a spraying station and like a clean station to where when he sprays, he can put his finished product in certain areas. And then he's got sampling stuff. So he's got like fully customizable everything, any color you want. It's pretty cool to see him, and the way he works with customers is so much better than I would ever be at it. So it's pretty cool to see him doing his work, and to be able to picture it on his screen and then him putting it all together is pretty phenomenal. Because for me, the finish work is just as important as like the foundational work. Of course, when you build a pad, when you get the concrete, when you frame, all that's important, but you can make adjustments as you go. But when you get everything, the final product is where everything just kind of
that's what everyone
defines,
focuses on.
And it's amazing. What he can do with the cabinets is pretty phenomenal.
I don't know if this really applies, but Brant Woods just sent me a video, and he did a presentation. I don't know if he wants me talking about this, actually.
I like Brant.
He's the best guy. But he was doing a presentation. He's gonna post this video on YouTube soon. So anyway, he was talking about like people's ability to visualize things, and you don't realize how poor people are at visualizing things.
I'm terrible at it, dude. I'm so bad at it. Sorry. Go ahead.
His example was just like an apple, like visualize an apple, and then he shows like what people actually visualize when they're visualizing an apple, and like
versus
there's
like
only
an artistry aspect to
it, and there's only a very small percent of people that can like with high detail visualize what an apple looks like. The majority of people like can barely envision the shape or the outline, or some people can't do it at all. And so for like a contractor that's trying to help somebody decide, you gotta have that type of software
absolutely.
Or like what do you call them, examples,
like a 3D model or something along and then that's probably one of the problems that I have with a lot of things, because I can go into a house and I could pretty much put it all together in my head. Like I can stand in the middle of the concrete pad and I can know essentially what it's going to look like the pitch of the roof, the rafters, where the AC goes. I can literally visualize everything. And when I try and point certain things out to people, they're like super confused. Like, wait, that's the bathroom? Like, yeah, that's the bathroom. That's where plumbing's going on this wall, and there's like nothing there. Like, well, there's no wall here. Oh, okay, well, I'll bring you back when there's walls. So you have to like
that
certain things and certain people.
I can't like when we were doing our house. Luckily, my wife is good at knowing her color schemes and things like that. Like I can't picture what it's gonna look like, and so that's why we go so good together, is because I'm just laid back and I'm like, whatever you think. Like I do not care what color our floors are. Like whatever you like, great, let's go for it. I don't have an opinion on it. I'm also the same way with what we have for dinner, and she hates me about that. She hates that I don't. She'll ask me, what do you guys want for dinner? I don't know, whatever.
My only opinions had to do with the freaking price. Like,
yeah.
That was my answer, is whatever's cheaper. Like, what do you like? Which one's cheaper? That's the one I like. Yeah. So she had to stop asking me questions because the cheaper one wasn't always, and to her credit, the cheaper wasn't always the best looking, and so it's important to have.
But if you have two floors and they look exactly the same,
go for the cheaper one.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep. So we jumped ahead a little bit. So how did you get into running your own business? Like,
so that's actually, man, that I was close to not having a business. I actually, in high school, I was actually going to business school. So I was taking college classes in high school. I was shooting over to the college, and I was going through the first stages of business school because I always had the idea that I never wanted to work for anybody. Like I didn't like the fact that I was having to answer to somebody, right? Mm-hmm. And even in football, even in sports in general, I just didn't like that. And so we moved to Phoenix. So I was working for the first company that we had bought. We moved to Phoenix because I had an opportunity to play football there. So I started playing a little bit of football here and there and was kind of running around trying to do my football dream. And I kind of ran into a little bit of a pickle. So I had a couple of options. So I was keep pursuing football. I had to buy a business, to go back to Safford and buy a business. And then my girlfriend at the time, which is my current wife, I kind of asked for her input, like, hey, what's, because I could tell that at the time she was having a little bit of a hard time living in Phoenix and adapting to everything.
Where's she from?
She was kind of moved all over the place, but she's from like Springville, and she just kind of was moving all over the place. But the city life was a little bit confusing, and the reason why I'd spoken with her is because I could tell that she was getting kind of in a little bit of a slump, and I was actually up for the Academy for Border Patrol. So it was either football, potentially buy a business, or Border Patrol.
Uh-huh.
And so she flat out told me, I hate living in Phoenix. I'm done. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll inform everybody about me not wanting to play football again, and I'll just go get a job to kind of keep us financially going, and then let's figure it out from there. So at the time, it was confusing because I was really close to potentially making it a little bit farther in like my football career, because I was already playing semi-pro. I was doing a couple of professional tryouts, and then I was on a couple of professional teams trying to see if they were going to.
Did you play for the Rattlers?
So I did have a chance to play for the Rattlers. So I
remembered something like
I didn't necessarily. I didn't roster for any professional team. I did get to to be on site on the field and be able to practice with some
Yeah.
of them. But I didn't make, unfortunately, I didn't make. So technically I was a professional football player, but I didn't make the roster for any professional team. Because in order to try out and pursue a professional position, you have to become a professional athlete, right? Because you can't play college football and all that stuff once you start signing on to go. And so I had a potential contract to play for Arizona, which would have just been like a practice team and be able to do those types of drills and
Arizona
Cardinals. Yes. So and I didn't actually tell my wife this at the time because she would have probably stuck to Phoenix, but so I'd asked her, of course, like, what do you want to do, so on and so forth, and we ended up choosing to move to Sholo. So I denied playing football anymore. I told everybody, hey, we're going to kind of go on a different path. But Border Patrol was still on the table. And then I had a couple of interviews for the police departments up north in northern Arizona. And so from that point, we ended up staying in Sholo area. I got a couple of odd-end construction jobs, and then I got like a cafeteria cooking job because of course I took culinary arts for 4 years. So I got in as a cook on the hospital there just to kind of see what we were gonna do. And from that point, we ended up. I got a letter from Border Patrol saying that I had committed fraud in like 2010 or 2000. It was 2009. They said I'd committed fraud or something along those lines. And
When you were still in high school.
I was just graduating high school, right? So I gave him a call. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then what had happened with the whole fraud committing thing was when I was in the gift program, when I was trying to get into the gift program, my family had made a mistake on the birth certificate and the social security card. So I had two different names. So my legal name was actually Joshua Luna Mata versus Joshua Mata, right?
That's crazy.
And
That they flagged that.
they flagged that. So Border Patrol flagged that.
Huh.
And I'm like, what did out of everything they flagged, they found that,
You're
right?
like, I've done way worse than that.
Oh, absolutely. And well, that's like the funny thing, because like when you're in, I don't know, have you guys ever like tried to do law enforcement at all?
I have a brother-in-law that's on the Border Patrol, and I remember how like rigorous the background was, and they scrutinize everything.
Yeah, so they went to all of like kindergarten teachers. They went to like the whole school board. Like I was getting calls from like an old principal trying to like, who's this guy showing up at the school? Like, and it was the Border Patrol Recruiting Center or whatever it was. Anyway, and it was kind of an interesting thing. So they flagged that, and I called them and I'd explained it, and I like, well, and you have to go through like a professional process. So you have to go in front of a board, you have to go in front of all these things, and in which I'd submitted the paperwork. I was getting ready to do it, and at this time I was already prepping myself because I got accepted into the academy. So you do like a couple of fitness tests, the oral board, the interview, the whole works, and the interview and like the oral boards it was so intense. Like this stuff they put you under the gun. It's no joke, and they hound you pretty good. It was pretty interesting.
Make you cry.
Yeah, it was interesting, and there's a huge psychological thing like that goes on to this whole process of the recruiting. And I remember one of the situations, now that we're on this thing, because I'm getting a little miscombobulated here with all my stories, but I remember actually Derek Daly. We went.
Shout out Derek Day.
Shout out, Derek.
So we went through some of the processing together because
Uh-huh.
him and I actually
Considering doing it too.
where he was considering doing it as well, and I
Mhm.
saw him on some of this stuff, and I showed up. They told me to show up like first thing in the morning, which was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I believe it was Tucson for the oral interview. It was at Tucson, the Border Patrol Center there, and I don't remember when Derek showed up, but regardless, I showed up first. I walk in, completely empty room. I go in, I check in to hey, I'm Josh. They told me to show up at this time, and I
And
assumed,
they were like, well, your form says Joshua. Get out of here.
yeah, right. And I assumed that when you show up first, you are first to go. Like they would, hey, you show up first. Let's get your interview over. Let's kind of go and get this thing taken care of. And then next person showed up, next person, so on and so forth. And then next thing you know, there's 12 people in this room. And one by one, they started calling everybody in. And then I'm like sitting here thinking, because of course you think of like, you just start thinking when you're sitting in a room with a bunch of people, you start thinking. And I started mingling a little bit, talking to everybody. And everybody was going in, and I started timing it. Like I started kind of going through my thought process of everything. And everybody was in there probably an hour to an hour and a half a person. And there's 12 people. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going to be here for like 14 hours, 15 hours. Some people are in there for like an hour, hour and a half, back and forth. And
That's
and,
crazy.
And it was intense. And then all sorts of different emotions of people were coming out of the room. And then I started thinking, it's like, well, maybe it's like names are alphabetical order. And then I knew somebody else that was there that was from the area. And I remember their last name was so-and-so. And then, like, well, he was like the third one to go. And that's like at the end of the alphabet. Like, that's not processed. So it's not alphabetical order. And then I started thinking, well, maybe it's like test scores. Maybe they're going through test scores. And, of course, you start just thinking of all these things, right? And I've got like an ADD. So I started like rambling and thinking about all these types of things. And finally, I was the last person go in.
The first one there.
First one there, last one, right? And so I go in and I show up, and there was one of the supervisors there, the guys and gals that were there. They had like a little mug, a coffee mug, whatever it was, and it was like a Dallas Cowboy. And I'm like, of course, at first, and I
couldn't help yourself.
I couldn't help it. I couldn't. Let's be real, you guys. I couldn't help it. And I'm like, well, it let anybody in Border Patrol, and like, and they all look at the Dallas, and they all just started busting up laughing, and then that lady was not okay. And then, and I think it's like five. I think it's 5 people, and like the senior agents of the Border Patrol, and they put you in like a hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
So like a chair that's got wheels on it. It's like one of these office chairs. So it's really hard to keep it from moving. It's hard to keep from like shifting or spinning.
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman that was handing, because they give you a series of questions to answer. The gentleman, he looks at me and comes up to me to shake my hand. I stood up and shook his hand. He's like, hey, these are your questions. He let me skim through them really quickly so I can have an idea what was going on. And they hand me like a secondary paper. And then he walks over and he kind of smirks at me. And he hands it to the gal that I was smart enough to. It's like, she's going to be answering your questions. I'm like, oh, man, here we go.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. But and then I was a little bit nervous, of course, because you have all these high up people in law enforcement,
Right.
and then the I wasn't super worried about it, because like, yeah, if I don't get Border Patrol, I can try other things. And so I ended up, I was in there. Then there was like 10 questions. I'm like, how long does 10 questions? It doesn't take an hour and a half to answer 10 questions, right? And so this lady just starts spitting out all these questions, or like starting from the top, and it's questions, and I'm not supposed to repeat them, of course, but I can give you an example of like what a question was. It's like, so your partner is he got shot across the Rio Grande, and he's in Mexico. Like, what do you do? I'm like, well, you call, you make sure it's okay to go over there. You either get permission to go over there, get him. Like, there's certain things that you can do, make for backup. And they're like, well, you can't swim. You can't go across the Rio Grande. So it's like, well, what do you do? So I'm like, you take off your spare tire and you float across with your spare tire. Like, those types of questions that you have to, like, off the top.
Different scenarios and stuff.
Yeah, different scenarios. And
It's like critical thinking.
Is like
integrity.
And then to make sure that you can process things really quickly. And I was in there for 6 minutes.
I would have been like, when's the last time that happened in the Border Patrol?
Yeah. And they're probably wanting to make sure you don't say those questions.
How'd my partner get over there?
Yeah, what was he doing?
Yeah.
It sounds like his problem.
Yeah. So then I was there for 6 minutes, and they're like, well, that's all the questions. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, oh, man, everybody else was in here for an hour and a half. I'm done for. But I stood there, hey, congratulations, you did a great job. We'll see you in the academy. I'm like, awesome. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, of course, with the whole.
Did you go to the academy?
I did not.
Okay, so you decided. What made you decide not to go with Border Patrol?
So I ended up pursuing my first business. So I kind of weighed the pros and cons, and with the Border Patrol, they give you like a wish list. So the places that you wish you could go to, and you wish you could potentially like be, whether you want to stay stateside.
Because in the end, you go where they tell you to.
You go where they tell you to, and I don't remember if they had ever told me, because like before you get into the academy, they do your assignment. Hey, you have to report to this section. You have to get everything set up for this place, and then and I believe at the time, I think I was going to Puerto Rico, if I remember right. It was either Puerto Rico or like Laredo, Texas. And of course, when you get those things, you're like looking up, okay, how bad's these places? And then so I finally am like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll take a shot at running my own business for a little while.
Which coincidentally, so did Derek Daly. Also runs his own business.
He does, yeah.
So your first business, is that the carpet? Was that the first business? The carpet
Yes,
cleaning?
it was. Yep.
Okay. What made you decide onto that, or as far as going that route for the business? Like, what's the story behind that?
They essentially, I'd worked there previously.
Okay, so you're working there.
I was working there, learning. I learned the skills, and the company that I actually was. The carpet cleaning company it was originally Kim Dry, and Kim Dry is a franchise. So, and I didn't when I was signing on to this, I didn't understand the stuff that I had to go through in order to get a franchise, which was a huge learning curve. But it was interesting because you had to go through like a Kim Dry business school. So you had to go into, I think it was Logan, Utah, where their hub is, and I had to spend a week doing a bunch of business school. And within that week, you get signed up with a bunch of different stuff, that like a booking site for keeping customers, keeping clients, like on track, which was an automatic emailing thing. So you learn quite a bit of stuff to keep your business going really well. And then of course they do advertising for you up to a certain point, but here in Safford, no matter how much they advertised in Phoenix, or even because they were going on certain news stations, and nobody's heard of Kim Dry.
Yeah, like, that's not going to be your
that didn't benefit me very well. So so I didn't really see the need for that on me having to pay for their advertising, which was kind of a bummer. But and then there's an online university that I had to go to, which was a 2-year degree essentially. So it was kind of like a hybrid course. So I had to learn a bunch of stuff about carpets, hardwood flooring. I had to learn about all the flooring, living surfaces, countertops, granite, all sorts of different things. And I don't know, different types of flooring, whether it was indoor or outdoor carpet, synthetic, natural fiber. So for 2 years, you had to do an online course. So I pretty much know anything and everything about any carpet cleaning or any service that you'd ever want. I know what temperature melts certain plastics, like all sorts of different stuff, and what chemicals can go on what. And that was pretty interesting, because that helped a lot with, when you know what you're dealing with, you know how to clean it properly. Even though a lot of the products are similar, you can still, like our machines that we have, you can adjust the heat rating on them. So if you're needing a little bit more heat, you can adjust the heat accordingly to the carpet type, or you can lower the heat if you're trying to do certain things, or if you're cleaning upholstery, or if you're cleaning granite countertops and repolishing certain things. There's certain things that you can adjust on our machines and understand through that online course that helps you kind of get the maximum benefit of doing it. Which like oversaturating carpet, it was a huge thing that a lot of people didn't understand. If you put too much soap in carpet, it has a really big issue. Like one of the problems I always ran into was like a company would go clean and they would walk across the hallway, go turn on the light, and it would shock them because of the static electricity from the person was putting too much soap in the carpet and not being able, so the carpet, the soap was causing a lot of friction, and it was shocking people, and that was causing problems with some electrical stuff. And so then I'd have to go clean all of the soap out of people's carpets, and that was mostly in Phoenix, not necessarily here, but like those types of things.
Sounds like a hilarious prank, honestly.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. And it was kind of interesting. And, of course, people can get sued over that type of stuff, too. So, especially if you're having an artificial heart. And then there's certain things that you learn, like, well, if somebody has an artificial heart and you get shocked because you put too, you can get sued for that. So then you have to have.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, and there's, like, certain things. Yeah, there's certain things that university, like, teaches you that you would never think of in a million years for carpet cleaning.
Yeah, I would have not put that together. Like, if I own a carpet cleaning business, I can get sued for somebody's artificial heart getting shocked.
Yeah, because it's crazy. Or
it's probably happened. That's
there's some commercial buildings that won't, even to this day, they won't let me even come clean their carpets, just because, not something that I did, but something that previous companies have done, where they go in and ruin these carpets because they have too much heat.
Yeah.
And it's like a glue down floor, and they put too much heat and it brings all the glue up.
Yeah.
And just ruins the floors.
I worked for Zero Res. You know Zero Res?
I did. I actually worked for them as well. I did.
Oh, yeah.
In Phoenix, Mar Mesa. Off of Gilbert.
Yeah.
It's Gilbert Road. Gilbert and.
What year did you work for them?
Oh, man.
Casey Jones worked for them, too.
Did he really?
So
2014, because I was playing semi-pro at that time.
So you started right after I left then, because I was working for them when I was going to ASU, and I graduated in 2014, and actually I was working for them my sophomore or junior year, so I had been done for a year. But anyways, that was one thing that we had to learn was, especially with rugs, and you have to be careful on what type of rug it is, like if it's a natural rug or an expensive
synthetic.
rug. Because it's some of these rugs, you get in some of these houses that are $1 million homes and have super nice rugs, and if you use the wrong product or the wrong cleaning technique, you can cost the company thousands of dollars because you ruined someone's rug. So there's a lot that goes into it. Same with like natural stone and on flooring, what
soft
type
teal,
of,
the soft teal tile,
different
stuff,
types of tile. Like you can ruin a floor, an expensive floor, if you use the wrong.
Somebody actually did that. Do you remember Wally? He's kind of a funny guy. Wally Grogitsky or something like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he was one of those. He was one of the supervisors that I had
Okay.
at Zero Res
He had
specifically.
ruined a floor or something.
No, we had to fix one together.
Oh,
Because
gotcha.
somebody went in and used like too high of a pH,
Uh-huh.
or it was too high of a pH on a Saltillo floor, and it pulled all of the sealer and the wax off of it.
Yeah.
So and Saltillo floor is like the Mexican tile floor.
It's like that reddish.
It's the red clay.
Yeah.
And it took us like 4 days to wax that, because every layer we'd wax, it would just soak into the floor and soak in and soak in. And it took forever.
Yeah.
And it was in like a $4 million home. I mean, it was probably 6,000 square feet of this
Jeez.
this flooring.
Yeah, some of the money that some of those people spend on just getting their floors cleaned and furniture clean, like, it's just insane how much money there is out there.
Yeah. I remember I did like a $4,000 job one time in somebody's house. I think it was a bunch of marble flooring. It was like the countertops, all their furniture in the house, and I cleaned the outdoor furniture as well. And it was like $4,000, something
How's
like that.
that upsell check, dude? Did you get a good upsell check?
I believe I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you only made like 8% or 10% at the time.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I just remember that's where the money was at, though, because they'd advertise 3 rooms for $129 or whatever, and then
But the upsell was
once the technician gets there, the trick was you get a white rag and a vacuum. You go on, you spray the rag with water. Not that it's a trick. I mean, it's.
Yeah, tell us.
It's not a trick. It's just you go to their couch and you do that, and it just turns the white rag black from dirt that's on their couch.
Yeah.
I think it was opposite. I think it was a black rag.
Oh yeah, maybe
on a couch, because a couch is. This is gonna gross a lot of people out, but you know how much dead skin is on your furniture?
Yeah.
Like it's disgusting on how much.
But you
Super
take it,
gross.
you
So
show
you get
this.
you get a black rag and you put it over the vacuum hose, and you can run it across the furniture, and it'll like clog just white skin cells.
Here's how dirty your couch is. If you want, while I'm here, I can clean it for another $75. You want me to do this couch too? And then so on those upsells, that's where the technicians make their money there.
Yeah. Were you ever involved in any of the commercials?
No.
Oh man, there's a really good one when I was there. It was his name was Mitch. He was a little bit older than I was, and he had a really, really dark voice. And our deep voice. He had a really, really deep voice. And he went on the commercial, and it was something, I don't remember it exactly, but it was the advertisement for one of the radio campaigns, and it was something about Zero Res. We will fluff your fibers or something like that. And it was the funniest thing ever. It was it crushed it with all the old gals. Like after that, like the older generation ladies were just calling like crazy.
That's hilarious.
And it was the funniest thing ever.
That's hilarious. Okay, so then when did you start getting into the remodels and stuff? Because that's where your construction started, was basically doing remodels, right?
Yeah, that's where it started off. So I was during random jobs like downtime and things like that. I was always helping people out, and I'm so thankful for the generation that spent the time to teach me how to do all these types of things, because like I said previously, I had an opportunity to work with skilled like laborers and framing and tile work and plumbing and all these different trades, and they took a lot of time out of their day to be able to help me. I mean, I remember there's one time I was on a carpet cleaning job. I just finished cleaning the job, and one of the kids were just running around like crazy. He was so excited about whatever the heck was going on, and sure enough, he comes across and he hits the tile. And actually, I was cleaning upholstery at this place because it was all like tile. And he was running through the kitchen, and he put his head straight through the drywall. And so then I'm like at the door, like trying to take payment from this lady, and like next thing you know, you just see this little kid's like screaming with his head, and she's like, "No, I have to find a contractor that can fix the drywall." And I'm like, I've done drywall before. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a look at it. And at this time, I think the only thing that I never really did was drywall.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, yeah, sure, if you can come back this afternoon and start on it. I'm like, this afternoon. You want me to come back this afternoon? And okay, I'll come back this afternoon. So I had to get on the phone with everybody I knew. Hey, can you guys teach me how to do drywall? And at the time, I didn't have like all
the tools and
the
stuff,
tools and not only that, but like I didn't have the knowledge just to look up YouTube, right? Like you can't look up YouTube and look like a tutorial for drywall.
Right.
And even then, at the time, it probably wasn't correct anyway. So I was like calling everybody, hey, everybody, how do you guys do drywall? I'm like, well, you got to do this. You got to get drywall mud. You got to get drywall tape. You got to, like, I don't know what any of that stuff is. So thankfully, like the older generation, what I was speaking about earlier was, Josh, well, gosh dang it, what'd you get yourself into? You know, all those, well, I'm going to have to probably come down there and show you. So he'd show up, and his name was Frank. Frank Hancock is the guy that I'm talking about. And he'd come down and he'd like give me the chance to, yeah, this is how you do it. He'd bring like some odd end tools, and this is how you do it, Josh. And he'd teach me how to do certain things. And so with like the Chem Dry, people always had other odd things to do. So as I was cleaning their carpets, they would start kind of talking about certain things. Yeah, we were thinking about replacing the floors. We were thinking about adding rooms. And then that just kind of progressed me on getting more odd end jobs and kind of working towards wanting to start another company to be able to do those types of things. And then I fell into contracting for real estate companies around town because I was already on their payroll as Chem Dry. So then they would, I remember certain people would be on the phone like, hey, all the electricity's gone in the house. Who's going to know about electricity? Like, hey, I could do it for you. Like, I'm already here. I could take care of it for you. And I already have electrical tools because I was a certified electrician however many years ago. And so I just started rolling into doing that and doing into this. And then just next thing you know, I kind of became a handyman doing a bunch of odd end things. And then I just kind of like, you know what, I'm already doing it. Let's start building houses. Let's start doing more projects. Let's do bigger things. And
that's
then
awesome.
word of mouth just kind of started going, and it just became pretty good for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah, and then I started doing commercial. Commercial was pretty big for a couple of years, the commercial remodels. But I don't care for the commercial remodels as much, just because it's always an old building you have to remodel.
Yeah.
And old buildings are just, you never know what you're getting yourself into, and it's bad. Like I've done a dentist office, and it's so hard to quote. It really is, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Typically you just quote for like the worst case scenario and kind of hope for the best on a lot of those. Even then, it's not good enough. It's bad. Like I did a dentist office that was pretty interesting, because you get in and you see like the bones of everything's really good, and then all of a sudden you start kind of updating certain things, and then you bring in certain like electrical equipment, and then you plug it in and it's like an air compressor, and then the electricity dies out. And then electricity not just in like a single area, like the entire electricity dies out. So you're like, oh man, that's not good. Yeah. An air compressor is dying out, and then in a dentist office, you need
have some
so many circuits.
Yeah.
So then you ended up just like, we'll end up probably having to tear all the electrical out, and then as soon as you tear the electrical out, you're like, oh man, this water's been leaking for a really long time. So then you got to replace all the water, and it just kind of, it's just a big ripple effect that just it ends up being kind of bad. And then when it comes to like the dentistry office too, that there's certain things that unless you're like specifically have done a dentist office before, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. So like all the copper lines that are in there, like everything that is related to getting in and around the mouth, had to be a specific rating of copper, which I didn't know.
That's interesting.
And I learned that from the gentleman that I thankfully he did all the research on that, because I would have never known. But the owner of the building taught me that one. So and then then it was pretty interesting. And then there are certain like backflows that you had to have, and I had to look up all the specs on all of that. And there's certain pressure, there's certain flow rating, there's certain machines had to be certain far away from everything, and it was pretty interesting. It was interesting, and the amount of circuits that we put into that place was phenomenal. It was I think we put probably 50, 60 different circuits in that place, just because as he was ordering the equipment and as he was understanding what he needed, I was running all the amps on it and all the circuits, and they all called for individual circuits. There's like specialty plugs that I had to buy and order through an electrical company in Phoenix. So there's like certain things that I had to run to Phoenix to get because you couldn't find them anywhere.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So and then that all became a pretty big mess. And then of course like the fire code for certain buildings were pretty new to everything, and I knew like the general fire codes, but like the drywall rating, the insulation rating, and then there's block rating, and then you had to do all sorts of stuff. It was
So is there different or specific codes because it's a dentist office?
Yeah, and then there's certain there was even certain locks that you had to do depending on like the rating of the doors had to be a specific rating, just because if there's a dentist office in a medical facility, you have to have a certain rated door, or anybody can get in and just steal all the narcotics or whatever that's in there, right? All the drugs that they use to numb you, and so there's certain things that you had to do in order to even just open the building, which was pretty interesting as well. So that was cool. Yeah, that was
learning it as you go. That's the best
the commercial buildings and the residential too, because you don't necessarily. I mean, in Safford, like Safford, Pima, Thatcher, they all have their own specific wants and needs that they prefer, or if depending on the road that you're on, there's certain setbacks and all that stuff. So of course, every time you get into that, it's kind of a new learning aspect. So that's all pretty cool.
I wanted to ask, like when you build a home from ground up, how much are you doing and how much are you contracting out?
So depending on my availability. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I enjoy the new builds. I enjoy, so if somebody hires me to do the new builds, like if you were to come personally to me and hire me as a contractor to build you a house, I would be a little bit more involved depending on, well, it depends, but I typically, if you're, let's say you sold a house and you have $100,000 to put towards your build, and then I would be more involved in the beginning, just because I can get in there and I can do just as much. I probably can't do as quick of work, but I could do a bigger parameter of work than most people can, but I could do it for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And you're not having to draw interest.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I can, like, for instance, there's a family that I'm building a house for that they got a bunch of insurance money for it, and they can put $120,000 down on their house. So it's going to take me longer to obviously do, but I mean, I can build the AB pad for them. I mean, I built it for, I think, $15,000. I built the AB pad plus the underground's going to be another certain amount of money. So I mean, and if you get somebody that does the dirt work and the pad and stuff, like, you're going to spend a heck of a lot more. So there's certain things that I can do that I can cut the cost down. It's just going to take me longer. But the beauty of it is that you're not having to eat interest because you already have the cash in hand. You just have to be a little bit more patient. Is all, because I'm technically, I'm a certified electrician. I'm just not licensed and bonded. But the guy that I have helping me build houses, like, he does a lot of concrete, so he's going to be doing the concrete for us, and he's going to be doing he does all the electrical for me, and he does all the plumbing for us. So the good thing with that is he has the opportunity to still make money and come, and him and I will do electrical together, but he puts his license on it, and him and I can do electrical that way. I can pull all the wires, he ties everything in, and we can just tandem some work together, which is cheaper for the customer because him and I can get a lot of work done together, which in the long run, if you're patient, it saves money versus having to bring in a full-blown subcontract that's just going to kind of burn and turn. And the beauty with us being able to do it is that we can actually put a lot of quality into our work as well, that we're not being super rushed. So we have the opportunity to be able to run specific wires, and let's say a lot of the times we'll do a dual purpose everything. So we'll run electricity to all the appliances along with gas to all the appliances. The reason why we do that is, hey, we're in there, we're going to be running all the plumbing. It's him and I. We can make that informed decision together. It'll always be there, and it's not going to hurt them at all. But yet we can make that decision to help the customer out without having to worry about a subcontractor and them upcharging us for doing certain things. And hey, you told us the wrong circuit. Hey, you told us this. And then another thing too that helps a lot is that we know who to blame. So if we miss a circuit, or we make a wrong run somewhere, or if we have to change anything, we know who did it. So we're like, oh, well, we screwed up. We will take the time to fix it. We'll make it right, and we'll progress, versus having to call the electrical contractor or the plumbing contractor, hey, you guys screwed this up, and make a big...
And then wait for their schedule to come out and fix it.
And then that's the other problem, too, is that we know that we can get in there and we can get it done. We know our schedule, and we will put the full time to be able to get this done, versus electrical and plumbing contractors and just contractors in general. Typically, they're like month out. So if they have to come back and fix something... I've had this problem before where I've had an AC guy where we're literally waiting on an AC guy that forgot like 2 or 3 runs that's already been paid. And we're like trying to call him. And he's finally gets back to us. Yeah, well, I'll be there in 3 weeks to do this. And we're like, no, we're ready for drywall. Either, and then they refuse. Well, if you're putting drywall up, we won't be back. You guys can finish it yourself. Like... It's like 2 pieces of ductwork. You guys can't get in an attic for 2 pieces. That's crazy. And it happens all the time, and it's so frustrating. Versus, thankfully, him and I have enough guys that we can rely on, and between him and I, because he doesn't necessarily have as much time as I do, but I have the time. So I have the time. He essentially has the equipment to do these things, and we work tandemly together to be able to get quality work and to be able to get all these things done. And we know if somebody screws up, we know who did it, so we can blame ourselves and get it done ourselves. So, and not have to call 30 people. So
That's awesome, man. So I hate to kind of cut this, but you had mentioned you have football practice with your son at 5:30, right?
Yeah.
And it's 5:20 right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if I have time to keep talking, but if I just want to make sure you knew what time it was.
Yeah. Does that say 5:20? Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, well, they're just at Thatcher Park, so
okay,
I mean, if
cool.
you guys.
So what's the best way if someone wants you to build a house for them or something? What's the best way? Do you have social media that they contact you on? Just get your phone number and give you a call. What's the best way someone can get a quote from you or whatever?
It's typically just. I don't, to be honest, I don't even know if I have any of my numbers on, but I just have an Instagram page for the business.
What's your Instagram business page?
It's just the DeMata Renovations.
DeMata Renovations. Yeah. Okay. So they just contact you on there? Yeah,
typically. And to be honest, I'm horrible at answering those types of things because I don't have any.
You seem like the type that the most of your business is probably word of mouth. Is my guess. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, which is a great business model, honestly. If people are referring people to you, that means you're doing a good job. Like, word of mouth advertising is, in my opinion, the best form of advertising.
It is, and I and typically when people call me too, is their expectations a little bit higher as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you have word of mouth versus
Right.
if they're on Instagram and they just see certain things and they just kind of make assumptions that you're
Mhm.
either okay or not okay, versus word of mouth is typically always good.
Mhm.
Or if it's bad, they won't call you. So
Right. Yeah. Cool. And so are you taking renovation jobs as well still, or are you mainly just doing new builds at this point?
I do both so far.
Okay.
So if and the unfortunate thing is that I have such a hard time finding reliable people for the renovating.
Mm-hmm.
The new builds are of course everybody wants new builds, right?
Yeah.
The renovating is a little bit more difficult to find somebody just because the big money is in the new builds.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you how many times I've called people, hey, I've got a potential tile job. Well, it's maybe a backsplash, and typically tile guys won't do it just because it's not enough revenue for them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's sometimes when you renovate certain things or renovate certain people's properties, you typically benefit it in some way or another. I've had a situation where I've gone and fixed somebody's shower before, and I've bought property from them post
Mhm.
that. Just because they're like, hey, I'm glad finally somebody showed up.
Yeah.
And then I'd be outside working and just kind of talking to this gentleman, and he's got loads of property. I'm like, hey, are you interested in selling any property?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd sell you a couple acres if okay. And
That's
all
cool.
because I did a little job for him,
Right.
Yeah.
and it turns into something potentially bigger. So
Right.
Back to you never know where opportunities going to
exactly.
come from.
So as long as you are willing to do the things that nobody else wants to do, you never know
Mhm.
what the opportunity is going to present itself. And it's pretty interesting how that works and how that plays out. So take on the jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You never know who you're going to run into and what it might mean for the future.
Yeah.
I've been there too. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is a lot of fun, man.
It is.
Excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got 2 houses going up, and I've got a
Nice.
shop going in, and I might have oh man, the saddest thing happened. There's a tenant that destroyed this poor lady's.
Mm.
Ooh, no.
I don't know if it was the lady's house that she grew up in or the husband. I think the husband grew up in this house because it seemed like he didn't even want to go to this place, right? So, and I think they're gonna have to probably renovate the entire thing.
Because they had a bad tenant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, risks of
Yeah, which
Yeah.
risks
sucks,
of rental
man.
properties.
Yeah.
I've been lucky
Investors
so far.
beware.
Yeah, it's.
Uh,
Which I think I would assume that's probably the first time it's ever happened, and I believe she said they've been renting it for quite a while. But
Yeah.
oh,
the
man.
problem is it's going to be down while it's getting renovated,
Mhm.
and they're going to have to go through all the insurance stuff in order to make sense of getting paid for. And it's like a 3,500 square foot house.
Oh wow.
Oh, jeez.
So and the floors are the Satio floors.
Mhm.
And animals have urinated on it so much that it's
Oh.
crumbling.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh.
So,
dude.
and 3,500 square feet to replace, that's like a $20,000
Yeah.
replacement.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Oh man.
yeah, I feel pretty.
It's
And
like the animals.
It is.
The animals. Yeah.
And if you were to just clean up after them, it probably wouldn't be that
Yeah.
bad, to be honest. But I'm like in the
Oh,
process
it's
of
like
trying
a hoarder, nasty house. Yeah.
and I'm in the process right now of
Sounds
trying to invoice that.
Yeah.
So I'm like cringing every time.
Yeah.
Every time I see pictures and every time I'm trying to like go through all the invoicing and see the prices of everything, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really, and I feel so bad for her too. Of course, you would never want that to happen to anybody, of course, but sometimes it does.
Yeah. I've been lucky so far. I've had good tenants, but
Yeah. Same.
it'll happen eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I had a chance to potentially rent our house, and I
Yeah.
just because of like You want like Kim Dry, going to clean up after people,
Yeah, you've
especially
seen all the worst
after
stuff. Yeah.
move outs.
Uh-huh.
Like I couldn't do it.
Did you end up just selling your house, or?
We sold it, yeah. Which we made a pretty good profit on.
Yeah,
So I'd rather.
that's another way to make money too.
Right.
So, invest in real estate, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Right on. Well, cool, Josh. Appreciate
Yeah,
your
thank
time.
you.
Man. This is a lot of
Thank
fun.
you guys.
Doing
Yeah.
this.
And if you guys want to get a hold of Josh, we have his phone number. You can get it from me or Davis, and obviously find him on Instagram if you need to.
I guess
as
I
well,
probably should put my number and information on Instagram. I didn't even think of that.
There's pros and cons
Bittersweet,
to it.
yeah.
Yeah, there's pros and
Yeah.
cons to it for sure. You don't.
The pros are people will call you, and the cons are people will call you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I get so many potentially scam calls
Oh,
regardless, so I couldn't.
All over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, my phone was going off during it, so I couldn't imagine how many scam calls I got during that.
Cool.
Right on. Cool,
All right, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for your
you
time.
guys.
Like Gucci.